Young to right.
So some trouble.
Swing and a miss.
Welcome back, baseball fans. This is Austin Alexander with the DP Bullpen Podcast. Today we've got a panel of four. I would like to welcome in at this point Corey. Corey Welch is with us, and Stow Rogers from James Island, Bennett Edwards from Lawrence. How are you guys this morning?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Doing great. Well, I just want to welcome you guys in. There's a reason why you guys are paired together. We've been cycling out some of the top catchers in our state. You guys are right there. As we continue to say, when we talk to these catchers, this is just a rare year where there are a lot of really good players at the top of that class at that position, and you guys are right there. But the reason we paired you guys together because you played in 4A's final series last year that came down to the wire. And so we just thought it'd be good to talk to you guys together instead of separately. But hopefully before this thing's over, baseball fans will be able to see there's a little more to the person than just the guy that throws the gear on and hits balls all over the yard. So at this point, I'd like to kind of just bring Coach Welch in. Corey, we doing okay today?
Doing well. How about you?
Good. I'm going to pass the baton to you and see where it goes.
All right. So I'm just going to throw you guys a couple of questions here and there. And the first thing we're going to talk about is like your commitment. Stow, you're committed to College of Charleston. Bennett, you're to Georgia Southern. And I'm going to kind of start with Stow. Like, what led to that decision to kind of stay home?
Ultimately, I just knew they had a lot of experience. They knew what they were doing, and ultimately it just felt like home.
Yeah, and you committed kind of early, correct?
Yes, sir. It was August 16th, I think, so shortly after the new date.
Okay. And then, Bennett, for you, I know you're going to Georgia Southern a little further from Lawrence. And there's an interesting story with your commitment, too, that I was fortunate enough to kind of be around during that time. If you could elaborate on why you chose Georgia Southern and then kind of share that story with us as well.
So I chose Georgia Southern developmental-wise, and then also like the baseball conference, being in the Sun Belt, one of the most, our top-tier conferences in college baseball. But my story of my recruiting process there was I was playing a tournament at Fort Myers, and during that I flew back and forth to Statesboro for my unofficial on a Saturday, and I flew back to Fort Myers on that Sunday to keep playing. But I was all over the place that weekend. But ultimately, it just felt like home to me, and I fell in love with the coaching staff.
Cool. All right, so kind of shifting gears from that, we're going to get right into it. You two were kind of the main pieces of an exciting state championship series, and then kind of during that process, and I'm fortunate enough to have played for a couple, and you always have kind of like that moment, like during the season, where you like as your team, you kind of felt like, all right, this could be our year, and both of you were there. You played for it, so both of you. Even though only one of you won the series, like both of you kind of knew what was that moment was. So what was that during the spring season that you kind of feel like as a team, like, all right, we got a chance to win this?
When our first tournament, we played in that preseason tournament with PBR, we won that. And that like really hit me when we're like, okay, we're a good team. And then progressing through the season, we just kept winning over and over again. And then it was a little bumpy road against Lawrence, but pulled it out. So.
Yeah, and Bennett, with you, I mean, I was fortunate enough to cover a couple of those games and things like that. I mean, it was kind of a wild ride to get to that series. But what was that moment for your team or even for you as an individual that you felt that?
I'll take it back to preseason 2 at IP. The first inning, I think we put up 3 runs. I can't remember, or it was second inning, but I kind of felt then, we got hot against a good Berkeley team and a good arm in Cole Greer. And I was like, maybe we can put something together this year. And then I'll go back into the playoffs. When we beat Catawba Ridge twice and they were, a high ranked team. And I kind of knew from there we had a chance.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely fun as far as that goes. Now, I'm going to jump right into the series as a whole. I mean, there was a lot. I only saw game 2. So what kind of take us back from in your perspective, like how that series went? What were some key moments? I obviously remember one of them, the ball that you hit, but especially in game 1 and things like that. What did that series mean to you? and how it unfolded?
Well, going into it, we didn't think we were going to get Lawrence. We thought we were going to get Catawba, and then we heard we got Lawrence, so it was just a whole shift of the dynamic. So going into game one, we were definitely on our toes a little bit, and that definitely led some errors. I think the first inning they scored 2 or 3 because first inning pop up dropped it, and then they threw a bunt down. We missed the tag. Automatically, it's first and second. So that definitely was a punch in the mouth. But we were definitely getting nervous, thinking they were going to take that game away, and then our offense pulled it together and got some runs on the board. So once we won that first game, then going on the second game, we had a little momentum. And then same with the second game. It was a little bumpy, went down to extra innings, and then just clutched it from there, I guess.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you there. Yeah, I see where, for probably your group as a whole, obviously Catawba Ridge was talented. Guys from Lawrence were too, but it was kind of the talk, and I guess maybe kind of the uncertainty of what you were going to get. And it was really two different teams when you're playing Catawba Ridge and Lawrence, just in how they play the game and styles like that. So I guess for you, Bennett, for your perspective is interesting, I'm sure, as well. So kind of share that with us, going down there and then getting to host that game two that ended up to be so electric.
I'll start off with like what an environment for both games. I mean, fans everywhere packed. It was packed. There was nowhere to sit. It was only standing room. But it was a great experience for everybody. Whether there was a JV kid just getting pulled up or actually playing in it. I feel like it's something we can live on forever, and we've been exposed to it. Hopefully, we get back to it again this year.
Yeah, the challenge this year though is you guys won't pair up in a state championship series since James Island split up to 5A.
We'll play them in the IP though, first game.
Yeah, they're already marking the calendars. Also,
Oh yeah,
that's right. We can't wait to see it. But we got a chance to see a lot last year, and we kind of touched on the end. But I want to go all the way back to the beginning of last season. I got a chance to see James Island for the first time at one of our DP scrimmages at your place, Stow, and then right after that was the preseason tournament, the IP Classic last year that Bennett, you guys participated in and played real well in. You could tell right away with both your clubs. All right, one, they're parading some pretty good hitters to the plate. There was enough pitching and things of that nature. You could tell these two teams are very good 4A teams, probably would make a good run in 5A as well. And of course, then you guys had the seasons that probably you guys expected to have, and we did as well. But I want to kind of take a little bit of a different approach. Yeah, you've got the talent, you've got all those things right there in place. But each of you guys, I'm actually old enough to remember both of your head coaches when they played. Both of them were middle infielders and firecrackers as ball players. And obviously, once their playing days were over, they got into the coaching side of things. If we could just start first with Stowe, if you could talk a little bit about Coach Spivey, and of course you had David Beckley there for most of that time as well. He's gone now back to the Citadel, but coaching staff wise, what you guys were able to shape and mold this talent that was already there.
So Coach Spivey, great coach. He can get fired up sometimes, like during practice. He wants you to have discipline, wants you to do everything, all the little things right. So he's the main dude that keeps you in check. And then pitching coach, Coach Heff, he's pitching guru, deals with all the pitchers, does all the running with them. He's a serious dude, and then he'll occasionally be a little jokey. And then we got our infield and outfield coach, where they're just jokesters the whole time, which is what you need ultimately, in my opinion. You need two serious guys and then two other guys to take the pressure off and make practice go by well and make it fun. But like when game time rolls around, everybody's just serious, everybody's locked in, and ultimately that just sets the bar for the team.
Bennett?
Tell you, if I break down every coach, we'll be here all day. But Coach P, he's a really good coach. He's more about building us as men than he is, building us about the game, which is, the way it should be. He should be making us into young men for when we do graduate high school, we're ready for the world. But don't get me, great coach, knows baseball, If it weren't for him, I definitely wouldn't be in the situation I am now. And I mean, all thanks to him.
Well, as transition from obviously very good seasons last year, and you start to look ahead at the 2025 that's in front of you. As Corey mentioned, Stowe, you guys are moving up to 5A. Um, Bennett, you guys are going to be a little more familiar ground, but at the same time, it's your senior year. You've been able to play in some big games, and so forth. Before we go there, I wanted to ask both of you guys. You've both been obviously guys that have put up big numbers, and you've had success in the team sense. But one of the things that I think stand out about each one of you guys that we've seen is that when you guys show up and when the game and the stage is bigger, you guys perform at a really high level. Some good players shrink in those moments. You guys, to this point, when we've seen you in those moments, definitely have risen to the occasion and even beyond that. So we'll start with Stowe for just a second, and then we'll get back to the 25 portion of things. But Stowe, I saw you at the very end of the season as well. When I've got to know what kind of zone were you in? What were you seeing your approach when you couldn't seem to miss the center of the baseball?
Honestly, like when I'm in moments like that, I just go up there and just think I'm better. I'm about to mash this baseball. They can't get nothing by me. That's just go up there fully confident. Know I'm going to do my job and ultimately win the battle.
And basically the same question to you too. We've seen you perform in clutch situations when the team needs a big hit. We've just seen you deliver time and time again. What's different in those moments than just a regular AB in a regular season when the stakes are higher? How have you elevated your game? What do you do? Do you prepare differently? How do you perform well in those moments?
I definitely try to keep my AB the same as I have the previous ones, but you got to swing at good pitches and not taking too big of a hack. Just put it in play. Let the baseball do its thing.
Yeah, because I'll go ahead and throw it out there, Stowe, and I'll touch on each of you. Like that home run you hit. What inning was that? The top of the eighth, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
That is an absolute in that stage and in that moment I've never seen that done. You made a pin drop in that place, and the ball sailed over into the football field. Were you looking for that pitch in that particular spot? Like you got to have some type of plan there with what you did to that baseball.
Well, going into that at bat, so game one, the same kid, he pitched to me, struck me out. He was throwing me all breaking balls. I think I saw one fastball at bat, and then going into game two, the inning before, I was bases loaded. I got curveball, changeup, curveball, all breaking balls. So then going to the at bat, top of the eighth, first pitch curveball. I think I swung and missed. Honestly, wasn't even thinking. I was just thinking hammer baseball. And he hangs one, and
Yeah.
it just clicked.
Yeah, and then Bennett, for you, like going back to what through the postseason, I think the big hit for you to me was the Easley game, in that situation, and if you could just kind of set the stage for that and talk about, because if I remember right, that wasn't even to win the game, that was to tie it or maybe put
yeah,
you.
we were down.
I remember Colt, my son, was right here. He was right beside me during it, and I think you guys were down 2 or 3. And I remember saying, if Bennett gets back up here, like they get a couple of guys on, this thing's gonna get interesting. So
Yeah, so we had bases loaded in the top of the seventh or sixth. I can't no top of the sixth, and it was 6-2 at the time. No outs, bases loaded, and I hit the double over the center fielder's head. But I was just thinking, match the baseball right here, do something cool. That's the only thing.
yeah,
Coach Staten told me before the AB, he said, you can hit the ball hard right here, do something cool. So, I did it, and great time to do it.
yeah,
Yeah, bases loaded doubles are very cool unless you're squatting right behind the guy hitting it, right, Stowe? Uh, but you guys put on a show that was really fun to watch. I didn't get a chance to see much of the late inning exploits, but Stowe, I got a chance to see you start off the game to set the tone several times. In the series prior to that, I remember talking Bennett. I was actually at his game when it looked like James Island was going to finish off North Myrtle Beach, and Coach Patterson was calling me and texting me and all that. And I said, well, let me just wait till the game's over. I'll give you a call. And he said, well, what do you have on these guys? I said, well, they got a leadoff hitter that you better be careful with. But when the baseball game starts, this he's ready to ambush right away.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you continue that run. So it was really fun to watch both of you guys. Really, when the stakes were high, you guys raised the ante, and it was really, really fun to watch the exploits that you guys had when the games matter most. But now let's kind of transition from that with all the people there and all everything that comes with it. Now you're a grizzled veteran, you're a senior. You've put up some numbers that I'm sure your teammates look up to, and of course, everybody's wanting you to repeat the performances that you had personally and maybe even as a team. So as you look forward, when the stakes aren't quite as high and you're getting started and you're starting out at 0-0 and your batting average is 0 for 0. So if you would just kind of take us into your preparation for a senior year, talk to us a little bit about, what you're expecting from yourself and then how you see things rolling out for the Trojans this year.
Okay. So during the November time, we'll be doing like team challenges and just a bunch of bonding and a little bit of conditioning and competition. So we'll be doing that. Our last week was this week. So then going into January, we'll start practice 5 days a week. Do Sunrise Savages, more conditioning. It's more one on one kind of. Just a bunch of conditioning. Practice hard January, February. Once game time starts, we'll practice a little lighter. It'll go to 6 days a week. And my idea for this season is, do better than last. Just take the next step ahead, progress, just see what happens. And for the team, obviously the goal is to win state, but just don't focus on that. Just take it one game at a time. Just see what happens. So.
Yeah, Bennett, same thing to you.
We've been doing the same thing. November, December, we do a lot of conditioning. We're actually split up into Olympic Raider teams, and we've had the Army people come a few times this year, and actually Tuesday we got a little muddy and cold, but we've had a lot of team bonding and stuff like that. And I can definitely tell it's definitely put a bond on us. And once we start January 1st. New Year's Day we'll be out there practicing, but that's when it all starts. We go 5 days a week till we start the season. Then we'll practice on Sundays since we do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But my goal is the same as the teams. We're going to win a state title. So.
Well, there you hear it, folks. A little bulletin board material, right? Courtesy Bennett Edwards.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Corey, I'll lob it back to you. What do you have for these guys?
Yeah, kind of touching on what they are expecting for 2025. I think that's a realistic expectation for both, especially with James Island even moving up to 5A. I thought last year getting to see you guys and things like that, like you could have competed against anybody in the state and would have came out on the better half. So, I guess kind of the last thing I kind of have is like, what's something that you want to share about, something about you as far as a player for something, this is kind of your moment to someone to remember you by. What would that be? So we'll start with you.
I want to be remembered as a great athlete, great person. On the baseball field, I want to be remembered for leading my team and ultimately leading success.
And then Bennett.
My goal, just being, especially every day, being a role model for the younger kids, because I want to leave the program, better than I found it. Leaving a legacy is something I want to do, especially to the program.
That's good.
I was curious how well you guys knew each other before that series. Had you been? I know you've been in all of our events, but I don't know if you guys had ever really struck up a conversation before, and if you guys have stayed in touch since.
I think we've seen each other at Showcase a time or two and just talk a little bit, but other than that, not.
I tell you, I have made more friends after playing people in the playoffs. It's crazy.
Well, everybody wants to be a part of your life when you're riding the roller coaster at the top of it, right? And you guys both did that. Well, let's leave the baseball field for just a second and talk a little bit about Stow and Bennett, the people. Let's get to know you a little bit. When we do these, we just want people to get to know the person as well as the person that's on the field, trotting around the bases. So if we could just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll just kind of go in that same order. I'll ask the question, and we'll just call it rapid fire. I'll just kind of fire a question, the first thing that comes to mind. There are no wrong answers, but just help us get to know you a little bit better. Hobbies when you're not playing baseball, which I know baseball takes up a lot of your time, but when you do get a chance to get away from the game, like this time of year, what are some things that you enjoy?
I like to duck hunt. I love hunting. I love being in the woods and just being with God's creation. That's probably baseball's right here, hunting's right there. I love doing that with friends. It's great bonding. Me and my dad, we go on trips to Arkansas sometimes. He has family out there, and we hunt. Um, Maybe play some basketball, pickleball, just watch some football. That's the majority of what I do off right now.
This is about the only downtime we have. But I'm the typical teenager playing video games. I like to ice skate during this time of year. That's my kind of thing. Just being around the family. This is about the only dead time we have of the year. So taking it all in with my family it's one of the key points for me.
What kind of music you like, Stow?
I listen to country 95% of the time.
Yeah, it's about the same for me. I'm a country person.
Favorite actor and actress?
My favorite actor is Vince Vaughn, actress Jennifer Aniston.
I'm going Adam Sandler and Megan Fox.
Those seem to be, as we've been doing these things this week, those seem to be very, very common answers, and I can understand why. Favorite movie?
I gotta go Wedding Crashers.
I'm gonna go Grown Ups too.
Favorite thing to watch on television?
Outer Banks.
I'm not a big television person, but I guess I'm gonna go college football.
Oh, that too.
Now, Stowe, you mentioned Outer Banks. Some people may or may not know that's filmed right around where you are.
Yes, sir.
Have you been in some of those areas?
Oh,
Have you met any of those people?
I haven't met them, but everywhere they've shot down here, I've basically been. My cousin was in the show actually. He was a background person.
So it's got to be pretty cool to see when you watch the show to be able to see areas that you're very familiar with, I would think.
Yes, sir. It is.
That's cool. And I know my boys watch it, so I've seen some of the scenes where they go into Charleston, and which is that's where I played and grew up in the game a little bit. And it's just pretty cool to watch that show and see some areas that you're very familiar with. That's cool. Let's see here. We mentioned music, video games. Who plays video games?
I play a little bit here.
Yeah.
What do you like?
There's a hunting game I like. I like Fortnite, Call of Duty, all that.
Bennett?
Right now I'm playing Fortnite and college football.
Favorite meal that your mom makes?
Well, funny thing, my dad does all the cooking, so I guess chicken Alfredo.
I'm gonna go spaghetti.
Favorite place to eat out?
And Austin, I'm going to jump in right there. I will say that that Bennett's mom makes a good grilled chicken too. I remember her bringing that to one of the games one day, so that should be up there as well. Now she's got to bring me spaghetti once.
Yeah, for any parents listening out there, usually we're busting our tail to be able to get to the ballpark. So if you bring some good eats, we're not going to turn it down. We certainly appreciate it. You maybe mentioned on a future podcast.
Yeah.
Good drop in right there, Corey, for sure. Favorite place to eat when you go out to eat?
It's called Comeback Shack. It's a little sit down eat, a little bit of fast food, but it's got burgers, really good, all that.
I'm going House of Pizza or any Mexican restaurant, really.
Oh yeah, Rio Chico. That's the best Mexican place I've ever been to.
Can't go wrong with chicken ACP.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got Christmas right around the corner. All right, you've got a wish list for Santa Claus. What's at the top of it, Stowe?
I got a new catcher's glove on there. So hopefully.
I'm a big shoes person, so a lot of shoes are at the top of the list right now.
Are you looking up your shoe game this Christmas, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Palmetto Games, Pro Day, different DP events that you guys have participated in, fall leagues. So you guys have both done that in the past. When you go to a DP event, tell us some of the things that you've enjoyed about some of your experiences wearing the DP jersey.
I've enjoyed one play with my high school. It's more local, so you're not traveling to Florida or Atlanta every weekend. You get to play high school competition. and it's just another way of putting a jersey on and getting back to do the sport you love.
Our season really starts during the DP Fall League, in my opinion. Getting to know each other, new team. So, getting to bond well. And then, I'll go to like the showcase part and stuff. It's just good reaching out to other people, seeing, new people all the time, especially meta games, playing against the best of the best in the state.
Corey?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of, I appreciate what they said about diamond prospects and things like that, and I look forward to seeing both of these guys at Pro Day. I mean, here very soon. It's crazy that right after the holidays we kind of turn the corner, and both of you guys will be getting a lot of attention there as well.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you guys there. I guess before we, well, I like to hear this. If you could go back to a young Stow or to a young Bennett Edwards and say, you guys aren't that old now, but you've learned a little bit along the way. You're teenagers, but what would you got pre-teenage years? That 10, 11-year-old that thought he was pretty good, enjoyed playing baseball. What have you learned? What advice would you give to yourself and maybe to a young player that wants to grow up and have the high school and college career that you guys are looking at? So, what would you say?
The piece of advice on myself is just keep working. The ceiling's as high as it can be. Keep grinding, put your head down, put your work in, and with the younger kids, just keep working and trust the process.
For the younger kids, just have fun, enjoy the game while you can, and then if I were to say something to younger Bennett, I would say, staying dedicated and respect the game.
Very good. Well, parting shots. Corey, do you have anything before we do that?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to tell both of them I enjoy watching them play the game. Obviously, I see Bennett a little more, and Stowe, I mean, at events, and then obviously in the state championship. I don't know you as well, but I mean, I followed you, and like I enjoy watching you play. I mean, you're guys that whenever you take the field, like you command attention, especially with the position you play, and I appreciate you guys doing that. So,
Parting shots for you guys. Any shout outs? Anybody you want to speak to?
Shout
The floor is yours.
I'm gonna shout out my parents for sure.
Oh yeah, that
travel ball is a toll, and without them, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. But and then also Coach Patterson again.
So we'll kick it back to you. I heard you nodded on that.
I've shouted my parents, all my coaches. Shout out Jake Amon.
There you go. Coach, you got anything else before we wrap up?
yeah, I'm good.
Well, good deal. I appreciate you guys. Trying to get 4 people scheduled to match up is not always the easiest thing, but I appreciate you guys making that happen. We certainly enjoyed talking to you guys and getting to know you a little bit better. It's been a real pleasure for Corey and I and other guys, our other DP guys that get out. We don't always see a lot of good baseball. So when we do, we recognize it and we appreciate it and certainly enjoy it. And you guys have not only brought, your teammates and I'm sure your parents as well, a lot of joy. But for guys who love baseball, just a little older than you, and we ran out of eligibility, but we've stayed in it because we enjoy it. And it's really fun for us to pull into a parking spot, walk through a gate, and prop up against the backstop and see the exploits of guys like yourselves. And man, I've got no reason to believe that you're not going to have a wonderful senior year that's sitting right in front of you. And you got a chance to play. Both you guys have a chance to play this game for a long time. So my advice to you would be continue to work hard and enjoy it. Just because you signed a letter of intent doesn't. And we've seen that a lot this year with roster spots and different things. And you guys know some of the players have been collateral damage from that. It's tough. It's tough to be able to get on the field at the levels you guys want to play at. But you guys possess the ability to do that, and just continue to work, do all the things that have gotten you to this point. We'll certainly, have a front row seat to what you do at the high school level. Look forward to seeing you guys right out of the gate, and hopefully you guys will be knocking on that championship door again at the very end. And we look forward to seeing that.
Hey, Austin, right before they leave, though, let's get a little score prediction for the game at the IP. We'll let Stowe go first. What you think is going to happen there?
10-0.
I'm gonna be a little bit more reasonable. I'm gonna go 4-2 Raiders.
Okay.
I'll take it a step further. Stowe's leading off the game. What's he gonna see, Bennett?
Flashback.
Probably nothing but bangers. You know what I mean? He ain't getting nothing good.
Don't matter. I'll hit it.
There you have it, folks. I love it. I love it. Good banter. We appreciate you guys. Again, I hope you have a wonderful spring that's in front of you. But before that, a Merry Christmas. Enjoy this downtime because you don't get much of it. Enjoy your family and the people that matter most to you. So appreciate you guys coming on. It's been a blast, and we'll sign off from here. This is Austin Alexander with the DP Bullpen Podcast. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.